Hello, all. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And I got a couple hours, so I figure why not do something to celebrate this person that I really became friendly with later her in her life and a couple years back for me in my life. Um, and she recently passed away. It just so happens I've met a lot of people in the movie industry and TV industry and what have you, peers and other entertainers that I've come to contact with and whose work I respect and who they respect my work. Um, so I'll probably be making a video for some of the ones that are no longer with us and some of the ones that are still with us. But I had kind of a dream where a lot of the people, and this is just last night, that are no longer with us came and visited me, and we talked about movies, we talked about life, and a lot of different things, and it was pretty exciting to be visited. I guess we're pretty exciting to have a dream like that, regardless of the context. Um, and Larry Drake was a really good friend of mine. And, his passing was um, pretty emotional. A lot of others that I know, from Paul Maslansky to which Paul Maslansky produced all the Police Academy movies. He's in his 80s, and when I talk to him, sometimes he's kind of in and out. And then there's Richard Rush, who's needs 24 hours a day care, and he directed The Stuntman. He's brilliant, free thinking, one of the greatest directors that no one talks about. Um, so, yeah, do I want to get these people to agree to be interviewed and all that? Not really. I want to just be able to continue my friendship with them and whatever things I can glean or stories that they tell me that they give me permission to retell. I'd be more than happy to retell the stories for them. But that's how life is. So a lot of you out there may be pretty young. I mean, I don't remember her career during its peak, but Sondra Locke. Sondra Locke was either, I believe, the wife of Clint Eastwood for a while. I never really talked about, um, in particularly, how things went poorly with her. She would always just refer to him, to Clint as him, and that he had such a huge influence on me, and oh, he was just such uh, an amazing person to work with. And in that context, she would talk about him, and she would talk about some of the other stuff as well. Some things that didn't go relationship, and I feel that it's not in the best interest to share that. I do love and respect Mr. Eastwood and Miss Locke, obviously, and having that she has just passed. Um, uh, it's I wasn't there. I don't know what's what. I do know that he's gone through. I don't even gone through, but he's had a lot of different women through the years. So before Sandra Locke, he had another wife, and then he made with Sandra Locke. I don't know if they created any children, but then Frances Fisher, who he has a daughter with. I can't remember her name right now, but she's appeared in some films. Um, and who this Kyle Eastwood's mother is I'm not positive, but I don't think. I mean, I think it would have come up with my relationship with Sondra. It would have come up that she's the mother of Kyle Eastwood, as he's kind of a bigger star now these days, or becoming a star, I guess. Um, but then I know so that he met another woman on the set of Unforgiven, and she was like doing a press junket. Then he ended up marrying her, and then he's now divorced again from her, I believe, because there was a reality show that was called like Eastwood and Family that she set up, and I think he was on it a couple times. And I don't know if he really. It seems very off-brand for him to have done that. So obviously, I don't know if that was something that he did so, and then was surprised at how bad it went. It seems kind of like the idea for a comedy movie 20, 30 years from now about the era where Clint Eastwood was trying to embrace reality TV, or having to deal with his wife embracing reality TV. It's silly comedy. I think there's a lot of I mean, the relationship between Sondra Locke and Clint Eastwood is there's a lot to be mined for that to be a feature in the future. So everyone out there, I'm glad someone's tuning in. About to do a commentary on a very underrated movie that combined Sondra Locke and Clint Eastwood. I think they were in 7 movies together. I'm not positive. Um, so now the person's left. Bye. And so we're just gonna do this commentary and see how it goes. Obviously, probably their best collaboration is Sudden Impact, the fourth Dirty Harry movie. So I'd like you all to check that movie out, and I'll probably do a commentary for that when I have a little bit more time, because there was so much to say on that film in context. The Gauntlet has been very many ways, a modern day Western. A modern day. I've never really heard anyone describe it, but I feel that it's very much a modern day Western. Basically, Clint Eastwood is down on his luck, and they rely on him as some authority figure to escort a crime witness from Phoenix to Las Vegas, or from Las Vegas to Phoenix, one of the two. I guess we'll find out in a minute. So you're just going through the desert on these cars and these beautiful views, and all these enemies trying to take them out of the picture. And the Gauntlet is the route, and the way that they're betting on them, it's a gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a difficult situation for them to live. So people are setting odds, basically, which exit they're going to get killed on and stuff. So in that way, it's kind of a clever little movie. And I really hope you all can enjoy it with me. And if I take a couple pauses in it, it's only so I can gather my thoughts and go forward and enjoy the experience of doing the commentary. I just, like I said, I want to add a little bit more about Sondra Locke. She would go on to make a Impulse and Direct Impulse, which was a really underrated movie with Teresa Russell. Teresa Russell, in some ways, kind of reminds me of Sondra Locke. They look nothing alike, but very strong women, very strong personality. Don't know Teresa, but I'm sure, great woman. I've loved her work in so many movies through the years. One of the more underused actresses, or I think at one point she probably started a family or something like that, because she kind of disappeared for a while. But she's a wonderful, wonderful actress. Sondra, I came to meet, so some of you might know, like, how I know all these people. A lot of them I actually like initiated the relationship on my own, either through inquiring about their work or wanting to know more about producing and things like that, because a lot of them are either producers or actors, or variety of things that intermingle between the two. I met Clint Eastwood when I was 14. I snuck onto the set of a movie that he was making, and we've had stayed in contact somewhat through the years. I didn't know Sondra Locke ever really even existed when I started to really know Clint Eastwood, and he had been already no longer with her for many years. And but so yeah, I just was shopping at a market, and I had my dog with me, and I walked in, and she was shopping too. And as happens, I'm almost 7 feet tall, so I helped her grab something from the top shelf. I had just seen Sudden Impact, and it made a really big impact on me. And basically, like, just staring at her front after her for a second, I was like, "Whoa, oh, Miss Locke, wow, it's such an honor to meet you." And I guess she wasn't getting recognized all that much. We ended up talking for, gosh, about 3 hours. We sat down and had coffee right there at the market. And then she actually walked with me back towards my apartment. And then instead of, going home for the evening, we ended up hanging out in my apartment and talking for more hours. And then it gotten late already and too dark, I drove her back to her house. Beautiful house. Um, so anyway, we carried on like that for the better part of the next couple years, and she started getting more ill. But it was still an honor to be able to, spend time with her and truly get to know some someone like her. I mean, in this modern women's progressive era, someone like her is not celebrated enough. Someone like Deborah Hill is not celebrated enough. These are two magnificent women who uh, were very strong and got movies made um, by the strength of their stories that they wanted to tell. So. I'll give you guys a minute to get the video all synced up. I'm right here on the Warner Brothers logo for the Gauntlet. Now, this is one of the push tab non-special feature DVDs. And let's check out the movie. Starting in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so back in the day in Los Angeles on Channel 5, they used to play quite a lot of action movies, a lot of adventure movies. Saturday and Sunday, uh, around 5 p.m. or 2 p.m. and around 5 p.m. With the commercials and everything. So I definitely saw this back in the day on that. Oh, I'd seen so many movies on that. Swamp Thing, Kroll, uh, you name it. So many different films like that on just I guess you would say syndicated play um, in some markets. In my market, of course, Los Angeles. I lived outside the LA area, but of course we got their content. Now this is I think Clint Eastwood doing the music at the beginning of this film. So as you're seeing, this is a beautiful shot of this town. I believe it's Phoenix. I believe they're starting in Phoenix. Either it's starting in Phoenix or Las Vegas. I believe this is Phoenix. And you just get the seedy desert context, and that's what I mean. It's like a western. It's just like there's a dog running around in the background, and this is this building probably just been built 20, 30 years before that because you know also you got Pat Hingle in this movie too, Commissioner Batman, and then Maximum Overdrive, hundreds of other movies. But that's what I'm saying. Everything's got a lived in look to it. But you look at the buildings, you look at the stuff. It's not like this stuff's like um, just been built, but it kind of has to. I don't know. It's hard to describe what I'm saying. I believe that's downtown Phoenix. They just showed a J.C. Penney's, and just Joel Cox, great editor, and would end up basically working with Clint Eastwood on many many others. And the music's actually by Jerry Fielding. My mistake. Very good jazz or upbeat kind of score in it. You'd be like, what kind of genre is this? Well, I think it's definitely an action movie, but a buddy comedy as well between Sondra Locke and Clint Eastwood. A real love-hate relationship. A lot like the movie 48 Hours. In fact, 48 Hours, one could say, is, not necessarily a ripoff, but inspired from this movie. I believe this is I don't know. It's either that he's going to take her from Phoenix to Las Vegas or Las Vegas to Phoenix. That's the goal of the movie. Sit this down here for a second. I kind of like that angle. Yeah, it's not bad. So is it me or does Clint Eastwood look like he's stumbling a little bit? I never really noticed that. I guess he's, maybe drinking too much the night before. I have the subtitles on. He had a late night poker game. So he's basically a cop. He hasn't gotten as much of a opportunity lately. They got a special job for him. They call him in. He hasn't shaved. So I don't know if the police world's still like that, but back then, of course, still pretty old school. You gotta present yourself a certain way. Now, I'm sure a lot of people in this era didn't see. I mean, obviously, some of his gimmick films they'd see that weren't Dirty Harry movies, but a straight ahead movie like this, I don't think it did as well, obviously, as some of the Dirty Harry movies. And I think there's some confusion as to the audience or critics or whatever as to what his characters were supposed to be when they're not when they're not Dirty Harry. Because this guy is definitely not a Dirty Harry. He's a drinker. He's a don't even care about getting here on time. And he walks into an office kind of looking shaggy with a tie on. That's not what Harry Callahan would ever do. E.A. Blacklock is this guy's name. What a crazy name. A.A. Blacklock. Blakelock. So he's the new commissioner. Anyone out there play Stratomatic baseball? Thinking about doing some videos about Stratomatic baseball sometime soon. So let me know in the comments. Thanks. I love this scene. Instead of sending him, he's been sent down. He's telling me he's got a special assignment. And yet Eastwood's still grimacing at it. It's like this milieu of being in a cop's office originated, I think, with him. So every one of them has to kind of seem like a Dirty Harry scene because he is relegating him. He's saying you gotta go transport this nothing witness for a nothing trial. That's kind of what I think of you. But as you quite piece together, it ain't no nothing witness and it ain't no nothing trial. They're just basically trying to make it that he's gonna die guarding this nothing witness, this something witness. Oh no. Okay, so yeah, he's driving from Phoenix to Vegas. It's a two-bit witness for a two-bit trial. Again, we hear that, but it turns out that it's not a two-bit witness and it's not a two-bit trial. Gus Malley is a very creative new character to film, and we're gonna see Gus Malley, and it's gonna be something that, in my opinion, should have changed the action genre even more, because it's not like she's an action star or something like that, but she kind of holds her own intellectually, and she holds her own gumption wise, and at times physically. Um, does she hold her own with Clint Eastwood? No, because it's hard for anyone to match Clint Eastwood what he brings to it. But she does just fine. She does just well enough on her own, and is able to, you know, tell people what the stakes are, which is one of the battles you got to fight. Now, I like that fountain right there. You see that fountain in the background? I think that's a really cool fountain. I like this part of Phoenix. I mean, I've been to Phoenix before, but don't know if I've seen all these city buildings. Would love to walk around and go on a little Gauntlet tour, a little Gauntlet walking tour. That'd be kind of cool. You and me been through some doors together. We've had our times. I like that line by Pat Hingle. We've had our times. So they're both, I guess, past their age where they're of major service. Hingle's just sitting around the office, kowtowing to the big boss. Big boss sending Clint Eastwood out on a quote unquote expendable mission. Because I don't know if you got the vibe, but I think he's pretty corrupt, that Blake Locke. Seemed corrupt to me. And I was having some audio difficulties in the Halloween 3 commentary. So if you watch the Halloween 3 commentary and it cuts off at a certain point, I'll probably end up trying to redo that one, but I wanted to leave it. The movie goes on quite a lot, and I was having a hard time getting everything set up. Okay, so that's why I think it goes from Las Vegas to Phoenix. He takes a flight to Las Vegas to pick up Gus Malley, and so I love this part. Eastwood's like, "Hey, can you spill me the tourism bit, buddy?" Oh, we just okay. That part of the Holiday Inn he just drove by there. That all stuff. That's like where the Aria is. So yeah, you just see how much Las Vegas has really changed. And look at this fountain. These Western area buildings I really like. I have been to these buildings here in Vegas. Haven't lived in Vegas. They have some beautiful city center, Charleston County Courthouse, I believe. Clark County. Gus Malley. He's gonna try to extradite this bitch. Spoiler: Gus Malley is a woman. It's Sondra Locke. You don't have a fella named Gus Malley because it's a woman named Augusta. I love this part. He's just like, fuck this. Sent me all this way here. He don't want to keep fucking around with this stupid ass cop because this cop's kind of dicking him around. Augustina Malley is coming out. So he's like, I don't got no guy named Gus, but I got a woman named Gus. Like an idiot playing a game. So she don't feel well, and here she is, Sondra Locke. Hit the deck, Malley. She's only had a cup of coffee. So he's gonna set some things up for her. Wow, I don't remember that part, but she starts tripping out and he backhands her. So the people don't want her to ever testify, so they sent an on the ropes bum type cop to escort her. You see, it's not supposed to be that they're gonna make it through this. It's the Gauntlet. He just gestured down pretty good. We can handle this good. You can talk nicely, and we'll be good. If not, if you start talking crazy, I'll gag you, and if you run, I'll shoot you. I like those lines. So she won't tell him all. She won't tell you him the whole thing just yet. It's 50 to what that they don't make it to Phoenix. That's crazy. There's betting lines on everything. Clint Eastwood doesn't think it's odd. Clint Eastwood's so bored and jaded with his job. Sorry, phone dropped. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it like that. I like it like that. So he's gonna go wait at the bar till she gets out of the thing, I guess. I just think it's crazy how she don't tell him everything. She just don't want to tell him in the jailhouse. But she knows that this is some powerful things that she's witnessed and that they are going to fuck with her. Now, what I love about this movie, sure, Clint Eastwood had made some other movies before this, but this is the first road movie that he'd make, and he made quite a lot of road movies. I mean, I'm not discounting the ones he made with Every Which Way, and I just haven't seen them. I would love to re-see them. I mean, I've seen them before, but not in modern age. What I love about making this road movie here is yeah, man, The Mule came out this year. That was kind of in many ways a road movie. He's on the road the majority of the movie. Lonely though. What I like about this is he's lonely, and with Sondra Locke, who's lonely, who has secrets. This movie's really good. This is a really good road movie. This movie's better than The Mule in a way. They're going for two different audiences, two different things, and I think I'll maybe post in the comments how successful The Gauntlet was, but clearly it's not name 10 Clint Eastwood movies, the Gauntlet doesn't pop into people's head. I talk to people about, I mean, Clint Eastwood's really big in this region. People either really go support his movies. Well, barely any of them knew what the Gauntlet was. Barely any of them. And the ones that did, I think they were pretending that they knew. So I highly recommend the Gauntlet. I highly recommend the Gauntlet. I'm glad we're watching it. I'm glad you're checking it out. Um, he's calling this bookie, and you can bet on anything. I guess that's why I like this plot. Is there seriously a bet on whether or not this witness is going to be able to make it to trial? Man, things were different back then, man. You can't do bets like that pretty much on the internet, I don't think. But back then, maybe you could bet on American court cases like that. So, I mean, I don't know. Oh, see, it's rigged as a. Okay, there. So they rig it through racetracks. So some phantom bet you can make on a race, betting for some horse that don't exist type thing. Okay, I get it. You got. Hopefully, you all catch that. There ain't no 10th race at Santa Anita. So, on the artifice of it being a horse race, okay, so this galvanizes him. This is something like, hey man, they're thinking I can't do the job right. You know what? I just love how simple this movie is. Think about it. It's what is it? They go film at some cop station in Phoenix. They go film at some. Okay, so they do have to gag and tie her up here because he's doing a lot to even trust these people that they're gonna set up the right kind of car and all this. This movie is a wild goose chase. It's simple in that it's got ascribed locations. So now they're departing from Vegas. Apparently, the holding cell was downtown. And you get to see Binion's Horseshoe, the Mint. So if you go on Fremont Mount nowadays, where that paramedic just drove by, that whole thing is covered, and you can't drive on it anymore. It's covered. It's got a, what do you call that? Canopy of lights. It's disorienting. It's done to disorient people and made them to stay in downtown even longer. Downtown, not exactly the kind of place you want to stay too long. Downtown Las Vegas, that is. There's the Strip, and then there's downtown Las Vegas. If you go to downtown, you just gotta be careful. Just say that much. I know some situations that go on in downtown Las Vegas, and I would suggest caution. So anyway, they're out of Vegas now. I think they just drove out the town. Anyone ever been to Vegas? You didn't know this area south of the Strip. So he's thinking that he's gonna get into this car. That this car is a setup car that he can, I'm just saying, man. If I knew that there was 70-1 odds against me transporting a witness, across state lines, I would be cognizant about getting in any car that was set up for me. And just as I say it, the car blows up. So I don't know what activated it though. Back in the day, I think you need to have something activated. So maybe they had some dynamite. So that ends the option of the car. She shouldn't look surprised. In my opinion, that's kind of an odd situation. Me being kind of a fan of her and kind of a fan of acting and kind of a fan of the movie, I find that this part to be a little bit. I find this part to be a little insulting. She didn't know that was a gun. She said, "What's that?" Okay. There's good and bad with every part of every movie, So now she's holding the gun, looking like this. I don't like the way she's holding the gun either. So she knows that she's being hunted, but then she was surprised by the car exploding and surprised that the gentleman has a gun. I find that to be a little odd. I've never really noticed it to the extent that I'm noticing it right now. It's not necessarily a huge plot problem, but it's a way that she's being characterized issue. So then the girl just points the gun at Clint Eastwood's head. Okay, so they're getting shot at. Again, she asks him, "What's that?" Where it's clear that they're being shot at. Well, my friends are doing a touch of evil discussion, and there's a lot of mansplaining by Charlton Heston's character to Janet Leigh in that, or to the female character in that. But quite a lot of mansplaining there too. They're shooting at us. I don't think that needed to be pointed out, but she actually does some pretty good shooting there, and she shoots a car off the road there. So learns pretty quick. And they're gonna wrestle for the gun. She being a very weak. I mean, most women don't have the strength of a man anyway, and she looks like she don't have the strength of a normal woman. She's frail, I guess you would say. So you can't wrestle away a gun from a man like Clint Eastwood or any man, I would think. And as she got older, she got a little more strength through her, I would think. I mean, what I would see her at least. Not necessarily a bodybuilder, but definitely a woman that could take care of herself a little bit more than this woman could. I mean, obviously her role in Sudden Impact is opposite to this. But even though she's screaming and falling out of a paramedic deal and asking silly questions every minute, basically, for the last couple minutes, there's a lot more to her as a character. I mean, the scenes where she's defiant that she's going off at 50, 70 to 1 odds, I find those to be good. I find them all to be kind of good, especially as the movie develops. So now they're officially on the road. So she's now telling him to go a specific place. So her act is act dumb, act smart, act dumb, act smart. And it just goes to show you she's actually a smart character. She just kind of show weakness at times. This is the southern area below Las Vegas. She just got her little jail dress on. Honestly, some people have said that she's not a good looking woman through the years, or this or that, or whatever. They always characterize it in relation to Clint Eastwood. But she's pretty hot. She was pretty hot when I saw her back in 2016, up till, I mean, she was struggling more with her illness later, but mysterious looking woman, especially in Sudden Impact. Here she's jailed out a little bit. It's harder to, see real positives in her looks, I guess, as much. Okay, here's Blake Locke. I like this actor. I'm going to get her back to Phoenix in one piece. I'm going to need your help. Maybe you can call the Vegas Police Department and send a couple squad cars. I can use one for a decoy, use the other one to take her to the airport. Where are you? Where the hell is this place? 316 Rockdale. 316 Rockdale. You can't miss it. There's an ambulance parked in front. Yeah, it's a cat house. You stay there. Where the hell would I go? A cat house south of Vegas. And they just basically tipped off an address. And you'll see the results. I mean, when you're on the run, it's hard to trust anyone, especially a guy named Blake Locke. So get this witness to not go to trial. Now here she does her seduction. She starts coming on strong to him because she's a prostitute by trade. And he seems completely distracted by this. Not the usual Dirty Harry type reaction to something like this. So she's kissing him, kissing him, kissing him, seducing him, all for the idea of the gun. I find this to be the crux of the story. Is he going to make her go to the trial? Are they going to be able to survive to get to the trial? And we have this one-on-one dynamic between the two characters, strength of the movie. A cop is arriving, a quote-unquote decoy. Airworst. I thought that was a weird. I used to think that was actually like an airline. All right. Unbelievable. I mean, they call in Blake Locke. Look what happens. They're basically going to knock this house apart.
Let's go. They've got a whole army out there. You got 30 seconds.
Unbelievable. Some weird shit goes on here where she gets out here, I believe. And they're going to shoot this house apart. And it don't look like the most stable house in the world. So as you can imagine, they're going to keep shooting it and it's going to fall apart. I really like this Warner Brothers era. I really like this Warner Brothers era. You got Bob Daly, who would go on to, I think, run the Dodgers. The Bob Daly, Terry Semmel era would happen later. But Bob Daly, I think, was just a producer on the lot. May have been a producer with Malpaso. Maybe a couple of the different companies, shingles there on the lot, as they say. Warner Brothers have been in a pretty stable situation for years. Joel Silver has company on the lot for years. Recently, that's fallen apart, and other people have had their business deals with Warner Brothers for years, such as Clint Eastwood, Malpaso. He's only been in a handful of movies that are not Warner Brothers. Maybe 10 or so. Everything else is a Warner Brothers one. In fact, I don't know of another modern person that has such a defined relationship with one studio, you know? Do you? Do you know of one actor or one filmmaker who can you one closely identify with one studio so much? Now they're just shooting the heck out of this house. So obviously they're trying to pay off their bet. You know, all these people put money on if this witness is going to go to trial, and they're trying to make sure this witness ain't going to trial. During the day, I have a little bit more of a glare on the TV, so the scene this seems a little darker. But basically, he's just hiding for cover underneath the house, I believe. Like a G. Something in the background said God makes house calls. I always thought that was unique. How Clint Eastwood finds some tunnel underneath the house and Sondra Locke's already there. So it just shows that she's smart, like a fox. So she runs down.
Somebody set me up.
No, you set yourself up.
Did you shoot at those guys? Is that how it started?
I didn't do jack shit.
Well, then why? What happened?
I don't know what.
They arrive trying to kill. They're trying to pay off the bet. They're trying to kill the witness. I don't think any other movie has this plot that I've ever seen where you got a witness that's trying to outsmart the system, not be part of this trial. And to the extent that these people are setting a gambling line on whether the witness will attend the trial, and being that she's 50 to 60 to 1, 70 to 1 to not make it to trial. I've never really seen another movie like that, and where she's trying to outsmart people all the time. I like this area of Vegas. You're just seeing like I believe the Mount Charleston, Red Rock area, as it looked in the 70s. Now, the movie has a real flair to 48 Hours. Definitely influenced 48 Hours. So they just come up on this cop and jack him here at this burger shop. I don't know. I find that to be a little bit, could that have happened? Especially because every cop in the town is supposed to be on alert trying to murder them. But I do believe this cop is maybe one of the good ones that doesn't do illegal gambling. Yeah, he seems like he's kowtowing to Mr. Eastwood here. So, person out there, how you doing? You enjoying the movie The Gauntlet? We're about 25 minutes into the commentary for The Gauntlet. Right now, Clint Eastwood is driving around with a cop at gunpoint, with a witness played by Sondra Locke in the back seat, and they're quote unquote on the lam, trying not to get murdered on the way to going to trial in Phoenix. So homie's trying to drink a tab soda on his cop beat, and now has to contend with this cop who's now becoming a little more ornery than I thought. He's getting ornery. He's questioning Clint Eastwood what his problem is. So Sondra Locke looks like she's trying to work for the next angle in the back seat there, just trying to figure out what the next best thing to do here to stay on the lam. And the subject of this video is Sondra Locke. We are doing the Gauntlet commentary today. Probably do the sudden impact commentary, the next bit of time. I hope to get her movie that she directed starring Teresa Russell called Impulse. Saw that movie back in the day on VHS, and it's quite a good one. It's quite a good one. I don't like the way that cop just referred to her. He called her a bad word. So let's take this little in and that they'll make the money, I guess, for turning her in. So she's a mob witness. It's the mob that's after her. And that's how the odds are getting raised up. And she's not protecting anybody. She just has some key information she don't want to go to trial with. Now this cop's gone from being ornery. He was just acting that he was in his back pocket, you know, nice dude. He's just being a dick now. Now he's saying turn her ass in. Don't really like the way he's referring to her. She's a nice lady, in my opinion, and I think that they should be a little more respectful to her because she's trying to outsmart them all. Now that's a 7-Eleven in Las Vegas. I used to, of course, go to a lot of these different 7-Elevens in Las Vegas. They're everywhere. Has anyone out there seen The Gauntlet? Directed and starring Clint Eastwood and Sondra Locke and Pat Hingle. Has anyone out there seen The Gauntlet? Do you enjoy The Gauntlet? I feel it's better than The Mule. It's definitely more action-packed than The Mule. Instead of driving and transporting drugs, he's driving and transporting a mob witness. And the stakes are more dangerous because there's actually gambling lines set on whether they're going to be able to go to trial. And in The Mule, I find that the stakes are there clearly, but you don't know enough about Bradley Cooper's character. In this one, you start to know a little bit about the quote unquote normie cops out there and normie authority figures out there hunting the package, which is in this case Sondra Locke. In The Mule, you don't learn jack squat about Michael Pena's character or Bradley Cooper's character, except that Bradley Cooper is kind of estranged from his, or having marital difficulties, similar to the Kevin Bacon character in Mystic River. And it's just kind of barely hinted at. And then Michael Pena's character, you know a little bit more about him, is that he has children and he's a father. And he's a married husband, I believe. So literally, I like the little anecdotal character type stuff that you get from the villains. Get this fucking weird ass Blake Locke police chief guy. How he even assigned Clint Eastwood to guard her is kind of a backhanded insult. You're not capable enough at your job, so I'm going to assign you to this situation. So I don't remember this cop being in the movie as long as he is, but basically I wonder how if this cop's going to continue or not. So he's drinking Tab soda. Tab, I think I tried it last couple years ago. I don't know about that one. Now the cop starts harassing her about her sexual, doings as a prostitute, and saying how much often does she have her, her sex for her money. A little brutal. Why don't you leave the broad alone, huh? So then he says a crude sexual joke. And now he's asking her if she goes to some kind of special school. And she's clearly an educated woman. She just said she got a BA from Finch College. Sounds like some nice school. He's going to continue being crude. He says 6 more crude things. Okay, and now Clint Eastwood's starting to get all tightly wound on him and put the gun closer to his head. Let him talk. Oh, just a big talker. Sondra Locke don't care. But she appreciates that Clint Eastwood's standing up for her in that situation. Because this guy is being a crude fucking weirdo. She can take care of herself. That's what I like about this. She stands on her own 2 feet as a character, even though she was almost falling out of the van earlier. You could tell once she outsmarted her way out of that house through that tunnel that there's more about her. She's like a mole or a vole that just won't go away. She's going to keep living. Damn, you just got a bunch of sexual talk more. Why does he talk this way? It's crazy how he's talking to her right now. Just really uncouth sexual stuff. And he wants to know what it's like being a whore. He's like, this dude's a total trip.
Actually, I always thought it was rather like being.
And she says, oh, the best line of the day. I actually thought it was just like being a cop.
Sounded like being on the tape.
Big eyes, I love her. Kind of narrow lips, narrow face.
Taking money from some politician each time you peel his drunken kid's Cadillac.
So for the watcher out there, have you watched The Gauntlet before? Do you enjoy The Gauntlet? Is it a movie that you know about? Starring Clint Eastwood, Pat Hingle, and Sondra Locke. Are you familiar with Sondra Locke? I valued my friendship with Sondra Locke immensely. So the way that she's dressing down these cops right here is pretty sick. Sure, Clint Eastwood's not exactly the typical one, but she's taking apart these cops, how most of them take payoffs, at least directly or indirectly. I really liked her little dialogue there. So she's just taking apart this cop right now. Taking apart the cop. A tightly wound little bitch, she's taking him apart. And he's having to club the cop over and over again. He's tightly wound and acting like a schmuck. So this cop, in my opinion, has reached his saturation point. Dump him on the side of the road and take the cop car, jack another car, and keep on driving down to Phoenix. That's my opinion. But apparently the cop is now just silently driving. I would like a little bit more dramatic flair in this part here. A little bit more. Just a little bit. Just a little bit more. Maybe her talking about the case. Maybe this cop revealing something. So, the mob and the cops are working together. I love how defined her cheekbones are and her face. Very, very strong face. Almost like a ghost, Sondra Locke. God bless her. May she rest in peace. And then, so she's a really strong, manipulative actress character here. Really, what she just did to that cop, she's now done to Clint Eastwood. Got him to completely question everything that he believes and knows and how he's going to be able to survive. Pretty amazing stuff that she's able to do. I love her as an actress in very specific scenes like that. It went a little slow, and then she turned the screws. Now, that's not exposition either. That's just good characterization. That's showing how she can use her wiles and her crafty mind and whatever her BA from Finch to undermine and uh, basically queen bee these drone male idiots. She's basically this queen bee dominating force over the movie, but is only 100 pounds. Can you name watcher out there or watcher later? Can you name another movie where 100-pound woman dominates things to the extent that she does? She's the mob witness. 100-pound woman. What? Maybe Kristen Wiig in one of her movies, but she's tall. She's like 140 pounds, I would think, 130. I don't think the weight really matters, but it kind of does with Sondra Locke. She's in every way the opposite of Clint Eastwood, in every way the opposite of a common cop, a common mobster. But yet, she clearly saw something important and knows that because of seeing that important thing, she deserves to be in the WPP, the Witness Protection Program, or one of the myriad of other things that the government can do to provide you a safe harbor in order to be a witness. But yet, because the cops and the mob are working together, and because her best case scenario is probably just leveraging the information that she has to being on the lam, she's got a lot working with her character, and it's a dream role. It's no damsel in distress. And obviously, there was the elements earlier where I was kind of saying I didn't like the writing and all that. But if you think about it in the right context, she's playing that dumb character to endear herself and then put screws to them. And you got to kind of let it settle in. It even fooled me, and I'm doing a commentary for the video right now, commentary for the movie. You got to kind of let the whole performance settle in. And one thing I've been thinking of, maybe I watch these movies like one time right before I do the commentary for them. But that's at least my interpretation. I'm open to have a discussion with someone about the Gauntlet if they think that her character is all over the place or if it's really a really well channeled performance. Because I tend to think it's a really well channeled performance. Wow, so that cop meets his bitter demise. They key off and make it seem like they're gonna have themselves being in there, and then you get the mob and cops working together, and they just shoot this guy to ribbons. So, hey man, we don't mess around in terms of actual bullets flying and stuff like that, and violence. The feminine wiles of Sondra Locke, Sondra Locke, or the strength of it, because it also has this great strength of gunpowder, bullets flying in the movie, and more beneath the surface than just damsel in distress, cops and mobsters and highway robbers type stuff. I mean, that's basically what the movie is, but it's also about coming from two different classes, kind of like Midnight Run, Charles Grodin, Robert De Niro movie. I would say it's kind of a rip-off of this. It's in many ways a rip-off of this. An effective movie, sure, but can't really front on this. It's this one goes for a little less humor. Lets the situation become the humor. I love this scene. They're just having to go camp out. This is a Western. Take away the cars. Think about that was just a horse and cop or whatever on there, and they set that guy up, and now they're literally having to camp out. So she's trying to start something again with him, and he tells her to shut up. See, now they're just being like children. I like this part. I love her like voyeuristic quality. She said, "I've never seen a cop, never seen a cop feel sorry for himself. Do you mind if I watch?" Says, "I can kick the shit out of you if you." This is great dialogue. I wish they restrained themselves from this part. They're like now physically fighting. So to the watcher out there, are you enjoying the gauntlet? I hope you're having a good time. You're awfully quiet out there in the live chat. Let's see if I can write to you in the live chat. I don't know if I can do that. Hi there. All messages are visible. I got no messages. That's weird. Hi. Ah. Hi there. Back again. All right, so here we are in the live chat. Exactly. If it weren't for her, Eastwood would have had them both dead by now. Yeah, why do you think you do this assignment? No, they don't want the job done. That's why they drew the assignment. I like this part. I'm gonna set the phone down for a minute. So I like that line by Clint Eastwood there. Whether it's true or not that these rattlesnakes are gonna fuck with her at night, he's like, trying to win back his even footing as a man because she just completely emasculated him, saying, we don't think I don't think you have a proper context about why you were selected for this mission. You were selected for this mission because of your ineptitude. And your ineptitude is the reason you were selected for this mission. And then basically all he's got left to do is give her some wildlife advice about a snake that may attack her in the night because of body heat and all that. I mean, I don't know what went wrong with Sondra Locke and Clint Eastwood on the multi-levels of how relationships work. I know there were some creative things, but in terms of deferential nature between a big star, sharing screen time and building up some actress like Sondra Locke here, I know things didn't go as well later in his life with her, and I know he probably could have given her more opportunity later. But he gave her plenty of opportunity here, man, and she's fucking shining with it. The scene where she just basically emasculates him and says why he's selected to be the one that's driving her as the mob witness. I'm telling you, I could break this movie down for days. That's pretty powerful acting and pretty good job. Now we had the watchers coming in. And we got people coming in the chat. We got people coming out the chat, in the chat, out the chat. It's fine with me. We got mob witnesses that we're transporting from state line from Arizona to Vegas, Vegas to Arizona. And wait, let's cut the mother hen crap. You're supposed to be a witness of this trial. Now she's starting to reveal stuff about the case. That he's some big time mob informant, I guess. And I like these scenes. They're now on the lam in the West, having to not even basically take cars at this point. Hide out in caves like freaking Bin Laden and shit or whatever. I don't really buy that theory, but yeah, hide out in caves like some other Rip Van Winkle type people, and I like it. I like it a lot. This is kind of like an anime or a graphic novel. These parts, or even like cartoon. Very cartoonish. This movie is very much like I don't know, Yosemite Sam, a bunch of people chasing down a very interesting character. That's what I think about Sondra Locke in this. she's a serial comic. In every scene, she's serial comic. She's satirical, but yet heartfelt. She's uh, clearly seductive. I mean, you can't help but see her drawn in eyes and face, and I don't even know what you would call the shape of them eyes, but beautiful eyes. Eyes, I think, similar to Talia Shire's, but obviously the face is completely different. And it's the eyes clearly that sell everything, obviously, but like they're the key to Clint Eastwood and they're the key to him. As her eyes start to get larger, and you see the passion from which she's thought about what it would mean to be a mob witness and what so now she's describing the whole thing. Let me just paraphrase it here. So she just fell into this world of being a prostitute. And we're gonna have a different angle for a little while, everyone. What is she talking about? It says for me to rotate the device. I think that's fine. I think that will work. I'm right here. So, yeah, definitely watch the movie a couple times before you watch my commentary, because this is a really well earned, really strong scene. I'd say it's as strong as anything in Sudden Impact. So, I would definitely not just watch my commentary first and then watch this. I would watch the Gauntlet a couple times, maybe in a row, and then watch it. I mean, seriously, the Gauntlet seemingly is a very simple plot, but she has a pretty big reveal there. So now this wild band of motorcyclists, imagine them coming in the Old West on a bunch of horses, and they're coming to basically claim her and kill her. And they got illegal gangs. No, they're not actually looking for them. Or they are. I don't know. I can't figure this out. So yeah, he's gonna go confront them. I don't know what they're there for. I'm trying to figure this out.
All right, you mother jumpers, this is a bust.
He called them mother jumpers. What a weird expression.
Come on.
So this seems a little weird. Some guy got a chain and tried to hit Clint Eastwood with it, and no one else is gonna jump him in. Well, I don't know why he's rolling up on these people like this, but weird scene.
Hey, man. You can't do this without a warrant. Man says I need a warrant, huh? Well, a man don't know jack shit. Now, anybody here know more about the law here than me?
Oh my god.
Any lawyers here? Any lawyers want to tell me why I don't need a warrant? Hey, man, why don't you get off our case? You with the fucking hair. You look smart. Why don't you tell me why I'm entitled to come in here anytime I please? Reasonable what? Reasonable suspicion. Exactly, reasonable suspicion.
I don't know about this
I can
part.
go anywhere I please if I have reasonable suspicion.
I guess he's
Now, if
trying
I
to
have
steal one of their
suspicion,
motorcycles, is what I'm excited.
I can just walk right in here anytime I feel like it. Because I got the spare.
That's what it
I got
is.
this gun. And I got the love of Jesus right here in my pretty green eyes.
If I were this gang of motorcyclists, seriously, I don't know why maybe they wrote part of this where they were like, they rush him and beat the shit out of him. Because they definitely could kill Clint Eastwood by now.
And personally, I don't
10 bikers taking him
The
on.
main thing is, I'm gonna have to bust you off. Of course, we do have the
You
choice.
should leave these hippies alone. They don't look like bikers. They look like hippies.
You get your ass on those bikes.
Just leave them
Get out of here in the
alone.
next 30 seconds, and I'll let you off with just a warning. However, if you give me any shit at all, in the next half hour, there's gonna be more cops, more guns, more handcuffs, more marijuana sniffing dogs than you've ever seen in your wildest hallucinations. You hear me? 30 seconds. All ass.
Well, I don't really get that scene all that much, except that maybe they had filmed it as a more violent scene and they put that as the replacement cut.
This bike stays with me. You drink and take a hike. Hey man, this is our chopper, Charlie. This is my gun, Clyde. Come on,
Okay, so he gets a bike.
Come on, fuck. Take a hike.
And I don't know, they couldn't just like peg out on some other bike. So now they're gonna walk through the desert. Seemed a little harsh. That's a rather harsh way of dealing with these hippie slash bikers, but like I say, you don't have to ever seen in every movie. That scene seemed like, what was the point? Except could they have come up with another way they got this bike? Because obviously that was the next goal. Get a bike. So it's basically bikes, cop cars, and paramedics. Instead of planes, trains, and automobiles, she's the John Candy, he's the Steve Martin. Not really, but it is a road movie in that way. And now they're on a bike, peeling through the desert, and getting out on some old desert Nevada highway. I'll tell you, man, I really like going on road trips and stuff like that. It just changes the context of how you view things and stuff. And so beautiful to see the open area and stuff. And also just weird too, as in it all used to be just native land or no one's land. How it's all basically owned up. Most is owned up, or most is parked up, or national parked up. You know, when you really get out there and see everything, it's like it would have been cool to be around, absent all the racism and all that bullshit. Be around the 40s and 50s, 30s, driving around them kind of road trips, where things really weren't all as incorporated all yet. I mean, Arizona and New Mexico had only become states like in the I don't know, mid 1900s, like 1912, I believe, 18 even. Hawaii and Alaska, you can't drive to easily, obviously, or in one case, not at all. But they didn't get established until the 50s, and then by the 50s and 60s across the country, things pretty much got well established, all the parcels of land and all that. And you know, the last 10, 15 years, national park land and this and that, and then whatever havoc is being wreaked on our government right now, and what that will result in. You know, what parkland is getting divided up now, what's this, what's that. I don't know. Just, you know, just enjoy the road, enjoy all the beauty of it all. There still is a lot of area that's undiscovered country, but it's kind of those areas that are undiscovered country are kind of, I guess you would say, uninhabitable, or you know, not in practical terms of being sold just yet. I guess I don't know how else to say that, but there still are some quote unquote undiscovered areas. So now Clint Eastwood finds another weird bike path off the highway. So he's going on some back roads. This helicopter is just curving up on them, and
and so the mob and the cops, helicopter, and all this, all been bothering with him at a pretty high level now. Yeah, pretty high level. Indeed. I'm really enjoying this movie. And look at the beautiful natural geological character of what this movie brings to the table. Look at that helicopter, man. Nearly just crashed. Obviously, this isn't the kind of movie that would budget for a helicopter crash, especially an unmanned helicopter crash. In the 70s and on a big stage, something like that, it would cost so much money. But clearly, that was some really good helicoptery because it looked like that thing was about to explode to hit the tail feather backwards. So now they're going to try to get the helicopter to go through this cave or whatever, near cave. Man, this is a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. Just rocky desert hill mountain area. And see, the only way the helicopter can keep up is if it can, face through these little caves, and it just can't. It just can't. I really do enjoy this part. So now you got the helicopter about to face off with down here. They think they got it all perched up or whatever. But they don't. Because Clint Eastwood puts on the gas through this unstable little area here. I mean, this movie's not rocket science in these parts, but it's well executed. I like the kind of like action comedy score or effect of the music here. And Clint Eastwood dodging bullets, but still driving and like not flinching. This is like a horse race through a candy, This is what I mean about this movie being a great Western. A great modern day Western. Imagine the same movie taking place in the 17 or 1800s in the West. About trying to, make sure some witness turns, or just change the plot detail slightly. He's just trying to transport someone that's important. But the fact that she's a prostitute, but a well-educated prostitute, and can do what she needs to do. Now, obviously, in this scene, there's really nothing to do. She can't drive the motorcycle probably as well as him, or just isn't driving the motorcycle. So all she can appear to be is a damsel in distress. So I'd say she's got about 12, 15 minutes of damsel in distress screen time. A lot of screen time where she's dominating the scene, dominating the scenery, dominating the path of the movie, dominating Clint Eastwood, dominating the other people in it. So right now, this helicopter seems like when he just makes that stop on that helicopter, on that motorcycle, that the helicopter should have not done what it did. So then they use probably a lot of cuts there to make sure that that's not a real helicopter with real people in it. And then they throw in the shell or whatever helicopter it looks like a different helicopter. So he stopped on a dime and it made the helicopter fuck up. I guess in a modern Western deal, you can't really ever say that there are power lines that get in the way in an old time Western, but the power lines caused a major tragedy there. And that helicopter with those quote unquote mafia or bad cop gentlemen who had the betting interest of wanting to make sure that the betting line don't pay off. It's a pretty sick and malevolent idea for a movie. They all just perished there, so good for them to perish, but brutal way of going for sure. Getting electrocuted in a helicopter and falling to your death. Probably dying before you hit the ground, but still. So now they're actually gonna have to hop a train, like old time boxcar children. Well, she's just always like, so if you take that line seriously, it'd be annoying. Because he meant that line facetiously when he goes, nag, nag, nag. Oh yeah, this is a brutal scene. They're nearly gonna rape Sondra Locke, I think, in this scene. And they beat the heck out of Clint Eastwood. I guess they realize now that they got taken for their bikes and stuff. And this motivates that action. And, you know, that's, they didn't like getting taken for their bikes. And they probably might realize now that she might be of value too. Or not. Maybe she's a good, you know, what they want to do that day. And they're really giving it to old Clint here. And he's not a young man at this point. Not a young man now, he wasn't necessarily a young man at this point. They're really beating him here. I remember him getting beaten in this scene, but not to the degree that he's getting beaten here. And now she plays against their psyche again, basically calls them, oh, so she strips down and flashes her beautiful, beautiful breasts. Oh my gosh. And makes it that she's going to basically be taken on by them. They're really groping at her. And Clint Eastwood's got to figure out how he's going to get up and sustain himself. And, you know, she puts herself on the line, so he's got to help her out here. Damn, she's pretty hot. So the rape scene in Sudden Impact has been a little more tastefully than this. This is pretty crass. They're basically peeling her clothes off here. And he wakes up kind of from his punch stupor. And he don't like how she's getting treated and fondled. Unbelievable. So he picks out a gun from the hand, and he's gonna take care of these boys now. But he got beaten really pretty badly though by this Charles Manson looking dude, and he kicks Charles Manson dude off the train. That guy's gonna live. He just got kicked in the head and thrown off the train. Wasn't not gonna. That guy's gonna live too. He's gonna learn his lesson. And she didn't, I wouldn't even call that rape because she basically challenged them to do that to her. And I'm not like making an excuse or anything like that. She literally, let's see, he does hit the lady and she falls out. So basically, the man that she was on this road trip with, whether she likes him or not, I'm not going to say, was getting beaten to death pretty savagely. And she decided to take her clothing off in order to spur their interest on. And I think you should give her a heartfelt thanks here. Even if he doesn't thank her, you don't have the words to even thank her. I think it's pretty heartfelt there, that silence. I really do, actually. I think that's one of the best moments of the film, in fact. He realizes that she just saved his life. He was going to get beaten to death by a gang of bikers. And as he's getting beaten to death, you know, after all that, and he saves her basically from a relatively vicious rape that she was going to. That wasn't even going to re-rape, like I'm saying. She was offering herself to them as a way to challenge them from stopping to beating him, because she had this real higher than thou psychological edge on everyone, and she knew it wouldn't go very far and that he would, stop it before it got that point. But when he goes and says Mally, her last name, and sits down next to her at the end of the train as they're, getting away from that action, that's a very powerful scene, because we all know what that meant, is that he's thanking her for saving him. So anyway, he's trying to get some kind of ticket, I guess a pawn ticket. I don't know here. One thing I want to point out before I forget too much longer into it, it's a really bad preview, a very bad trailer, not a good trailer at all. I don't know if you've ever seen the trailer for the Gauntlet, but I wouldn't even recommend Googling it. It's not a good trailer at all. It's something that was done with trailers a lot in that era. The Dirty Harry trailers are an exception. And I don't know how. I mean, Clint Eastwood, that wasn't just basically just starting out in his career. He's kind of midway, or, early on into that phase in his career. I don't know what control, if any, he's ever had over trailers. I really don't know that. But I find that trailer to be kind of ridiculous. Kind of just, I'm going to watch it again after. So you got Josephson played by Pat Hingle here. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. Is just don't ever watch the trailer for it. I mean, if you want to, once you've seen the movie 100 times, like I have, don't watch the trailer and be like, wow, what a missed opportunity. But sometimes the trailer is important, like really important. Like some movies that I remember fondly had really good trailers, even if the movies aren't good. Seriously. Movies like Can't Hardly Wait had a really good trailer. Movies like, etc. I can name hundreds from the 90s and 2000s, 80s. Really good trailers, movies. I mean, I think even Cruel Intentions, obviously, it's a guilty pleasure and everything like that. But one of the best trailers of all time. One of the best trailers of all time. Movies like Free Jack, Strange Days. That's a pretty good idea for the show, actually. For a show, I hope someone can do that show about trailers that are really good, where the movie turns out poor, and trailers where the movie's really poor and turns out good. That's what I think would be an interesting show right there. I really do enjoy this part. I obviously used to like this movie. It's important. Yeah. Good dog. So, I think they got a little hotel room now. And he's rewarding them with getting some chicken and a bottle of wine and some other stuff. So, you get a view of Orange Dog. So, they now have kind of a well-earned romantic scene where they get to know each other a little bit more. Does it really fit with the movie? No. You would imagine that this kind of scene would happen when they're quote unquote not on the lam. But hey, after the roughness of the scene before it, I guess it's, like I said, it's well earned. But does it fit? Don't know. It seems a little bit lengthy here. It's almost like when you're playing that movie and video game simulator where you can put things on a set and then, dress the set, put the actors in it. It's almost like someone just dragged and dropped, you know, wine and roses and all these different things across the scene. And obviously, it's implying that they consumed all these items, and there's food everywhere. Looks like they had, you know, some time that someone wouldn't have when they're on the land. But it's funny. It's kind of silly part of the movie that we like. I'm watching this movie with my dog, and Clint Eastwood's got a nice screen presence, calming to a dog. We watched a couple Benji movies together.
Look, I've got my checkbook. $5,000 back at Vegas.
When that runs out,
Well, look, then let's take the money and buy a pickup truck, an old sedan, or something unobtrusive, for God's sake. We'll take the back roads, turn ourselves into some precinct station, anything but City Hall. We'll ask for protective custody. Talk to the DA.
that's exactly what I want you to do.
So this scene,
What about you?
they're now starting to motivate action a little bit more. It's not more like,
We both know my
looked like a little bit more like, oh, let's get to know Clint Eastwood's character for no reason. So I kind of like him as being a shell. We don't know nothing about him. They revealed some backstory there that I don't really care about. I literally don't.
You said yourself you didn't think the whole thing would work.
I like to know more about his character one time.
Who, Blake Locke?
No,
I'm sure I knew it at one point, but I like him just being, you know, a cop on the edge here at the very end of his career. Is your eye okay, Curly? I'm looking at my dog's eye. Seems to be having an issue. What's wrong with your eye? You alright? It's just because you're a bloodhound, huh?
I'm okay. How are you? Well, I'm in,
I don't know. I hope you're alright.
It's a small town about halfway between Vegas and Phoenix.
Oh, you got a good face.
Oh, I quit that job. Yeah, I mean, who wants to be a secretary all in life?
Oh,
Look, anyway,
Oh,
the big
zhooby,
news
zhooby,
is
zhooby.
I met this man.
So Sondra Locke's doing a good job in this scene
He's
too.
really special.
Her
Yeah,
usual
you'd really like him.
misleading and
Chocolate. And chocolate. Jesus,
I
Mom,
love this part of the
he wants
movie.
to make what church he goes to. We love each other and we're gonna be married. Yeah, we're gonna settle down in Arizona and have kids. Well, I don't know. We hadn't really decided, probably northern Arizona somewhere. Maybe we can.
so I think that she's, I don't know what she's doing here, but it's an interesting part of the movie. This conversation.
Business we have to take care of in Phoenix first, and then we're gonna do it.
So for everyone out there, let's kind of open this up for discussion.
Okay?
What are some other Clint Eastwood movies that you're really fond of? What are some other Clint Eastwood movies that you're very fond of? Do you like almost every Clint Eastwood movie you've seen? Are there some Clint Eastwood movies you like more than others? What are some ones that you're extremely fond of? For me, having gone to the premiere of $1 Million Baby, I mean, had I seen that anywhere or whatever, I would have really, I really enjoyed that one. I think that's one of the better movies ever made. I really do think that. Lakushka, the whole thing. I mean, and by all means, if people haven't seen $1 Million Baby, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's quite a good movie. Hilary Swank is a 2-time Best Actress Oscar winner. I mean, did she ever really do much else in her career besides those 2 movies that she won the Oscar for? I mean, yeah, Insomnia, some other films as well. But clearly, that was a triumphant situation by her making those two ones. I'm just gonna leave it like that, okay? So I'm right here. So anyway, Hillary Swank and Boys Don't Cry, which I don't think is as good of a... Ah! Are you alright, Curly? That seems like it might have hurt your hand. Are you alright? Alright, dog. Lie down. Lie down, dude. That might have hurt you. I mean, you just scraped your claw on my hand. Like, seems like it kind of hurt that paw underneath. I guess not. You're pretty tolerant of pain, it seems. So in 2004, she won Best Actress for $1 Million Baby. So Clint Eastwood directed and starred in that one. So in terms of, let's just talk about in terms of the ones that Clint Eastwood has directed and starred on. Person out there in the chat, perhaps you can let me know what you think. What he directed out there and starred on, what are your favorite ones? So only the ones that he directed and starred in. That would be clearly Sudden Impact, The Mule, The Gauntlet, The Rookie, Play Misty for Me. I don't believe he's in Breezy, if I remember right. If he is, it's not in a big role. Unforgiven. I think he made Space Cowboys, so yeah, Space Cowboys. I think he directed Absolute Power, so Absolute Power. Gran Torino. True Crime, Blood Work. So in terms of those movies, I think Gauntlet's in the upper half of those. I mean, I like Gran Torino, but that's probably my least favorite of all the ones I just mentioned. Oh no, The Rookie's probably my least favorite of all the ones I just mentioned. Then Gran Torino. And then... what would be next on that? True Crime. And then as much as I like Blood Work, probably that would be next. And then The Gauntlet would have to be pretty close next on that. Oh no, Absolute Power. Absolute Power would be below all these ones. Sorry, Absolute Power would be below these ones. So then notched up would be True Crime, notched up would be Blood Work. And then would be The Gauntlet. Oh no, then would be... Okay, the Mule would be in front of Absolute Power. Right around that lower tier area, like The Rookie and Gran Torino. So those four would be like the lower tier, and then True Crime and Blood Work would be like the middle, medium movies, I guess. Gauntlet would be like upper tier. Sudden Impact would be upper tier. Unforgiven would be like highest, the Unforgiven and $1 Million Baby, upper tier. Space Cowboys, one I have to like revisit, I guess, to actually put in this list, but I just kind of, asterisk that one for right now. Been waiting to find a good home media version for that one, so. Oh, I guess Bridges of Madison County should be on this list as well. I think Clint Eastwood directed and starred in that one. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of that one, but it's not horrible. I think I put that above Absolute Power and The Rookie for sure, and Gran Torino. That's a pretty fun list, actually.
ranking all of the Clint Eastwood movies that he directed and starred in. I'm not the hugest fan of Planet for me. I think it's really good, but I think I probably like the Gauntlet more. And I probably like True Crime and Blood Work even more. But I've got to probably revisit Planet for me again, too. But clearly I've seen that movie. Oh god, probably like 100 times back in the day, but I haven't watched it in a long time. He's never really made a horror movie. I mean, he's made The Changeling, had some horror aspects to it, and probably should have gone darker. He's made The Hereafter, which had some sci-fi action to it. So now, they basically have had their time on the lam, and now it's time for them to get to trial. And it's gone on and on and on. I need to figure out what time it is out there. I really don't know what time it is right now. Does anyone out there in the chat, can they tell me what time it is Central Time? Thank you. What time is it? Thank you. Oh, I'd like to get to one of my Q&A questions. Let me lower the TV here. I'd like to get to one of my Q&A questions. The Q&A questions was, let's talk about blank from hell thrillers. What are your favorite blank from hell thrillers? And it is from Corky in Orlando, Florida. Thank you so much, Corky. Well, blank from hell thrillers. I think I might do a whole video on blank from hell thrillers later today. I really am excited to do a blank from hell thriller deal. Thank you so much for your Q&A question. I'm glad you so well timed, and something I care about so much is blank from hell thrillers. So I'll do a whole video about that. This is not necessarily a blank from hell thriller, but she is a witness from hell because she's clever, smart, doesn't want to have to be targeted as a mob witness, will do anything she can to make sure that she's not targeted as a mob witness. That kind of thing I really think is the strength of this movie. So now they're talking about having children and stuff. I think that's a little weird, a little premature. You know what I'm saying? They should just kind of rip back a little bit. Too much planning. They're not even home free yet. But yeah, with a better trailer, this movie may have been even better than it did. I think it did pretty well anyway. Your eye okay? Your eye looks a little less clear than usual. Is that because you're a bloodhound? Or because you're a cutie? Okay, oh. Good God. So they're like together now. I wish they would kind of just chill on, you know, their level of closeness that they're showing there, because it just makes me kind of uncomfortable. They're not home free yet, you know. I guess it just goes to show you how much I really care about the characters at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Like I really do care about their freedom and don't want them to get hurt by letting their guard down for too long.
Hospital alone, or stick college disciples decide they can't shoot down one of their own officers.
Well, he continually is in a situation where he's needing the authority to intervene, but yet they don't have all the information. I mean, they're basically, serving double interest of the information. So, wow, I always play this Stratomatic game as I'm doing these commentaries, and there was just a grand slam by David Prado. Tulsa Tornadoes. So as we get to the finale of the Gauntlet, that's quite amazing. Wow. So I'm out there here. Oh, it's only 2:07 Central Time. Here, I started panicking, everyone. I have to go somewhere at a certain time, so I started panicking. And I can relax and enjoy the rest of the commentary, basically. And even have it at a better angle. I mean, that's an okay angle. There we go. So, I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of this movie where, see, it just wouldn't make sense. They seem to always invert the sexes nowadays in these movies. So, a gruff female cop, hard on her luck, that just doesn't make sense. And then a waifish male prostitute. I mean, it's not the kind of movie that would work. I just don't think. But hey, if Warner Brothers wants to do what they did with the Ocean's movies and make an all woman or women centric plot where Clint Eastwood is played by, like, I don't know, Sandra Bullock, and Sandra Locke is played by I don't know, Kevin Hart, that would be a pretty good movie, The Gauntlet. Like, legit, I would want to see that. Or something big, like The Rock. Like, The Rock is a male prostitute in it. And he's a mob witness, and maybe he can't take care of himself. He's just a big dude. I don't know, something against stereotype. I'd like to see that. I mean, we're in that era where they're already happening anyway. So, I mean, we're in that era where it's literally already happening anyway. So I just don't think that this movie has enough of the public consciousness. But neither did I with Overboard, that movie that was just remade from the Goldie Hawn movie. I didn't think that had enough of the public consciousness to reckon a remake. But it sure did reckon a remake. And I don't know, has anyone out there in the chat, can you tell me if you've seen what do you call it? Have you seen you know what I'm talking about? Overboard, starring Anna Faris and Eugenio Derbez. I know that happened to be a remake of Overboard, obviously. So I'd like to know if anyone out there in the chat has ever seen that one. Thank you. So Pat Hingle's character dies, Josephson, and I like the little character moments that he shared with Clint Eastwood in this film. Let me lower this again. Sorry, guys. The son of a bitch just killed his partner, or yeah,
Blake Locke killed Josephson. Not a surprise. And very impressive feat to betray these cops in a manner which this new cop is basically a shill for the mob. And what he's done is completely abysmal. And it's not right. And it frustrates me as a taxpayer, and it frustrates me as a citizen that this kind of cop would be, the one that's on the warpath for the Phoenix PD. I just don't think it's right. So yeah, I'm plugging it into the charger to finish it off here because as they're arriving into town, I believe they're under police protection or they're under the opposite of police protection. They're about to get shot upon as they're arriving into town. Unbelievable. Now this bus is gonna get shot all to hell with these cops trying to pay off their vets, and they're hiding underneath the I guess the seats and just taking all the abuse of these bullets. So I don't know how many bullets or how many squibs or how many whatevers were used in the making of this movie, but you can bet there was plenty. You can fully bet there was plenty. Because you got this bus just getting shot all to hell. And the ambiance of Phoenix and Las Vegas is never shown better in a movie than it does here. It's never shown better in a movie, the ambiance of Phoenix and Las Vegas than it does here. The kind of structural buildings, these edifices of law and government reflected against the dry desert heat and the like kind of cool architecture, and the dawning of a new age of the 70s kind of fading away. You really can't beat. It's like a moving weird postcard for the West and the Southwest in this era, and I really do love the ambiance that this movie happens to create. I think it's something that is very impressive indeed, and I very much enjoy all the performances in this film, especially this scene, because as well as their plan is to hide underneath their bus, they could have just died right there, and that would made the movie all for naught. But yet, it's a movie, and they can live through that scene where one bullet doesn't go to them, even though there are thousands shot, even though they're hiding in a good situation and all that. So, really do enjoy the movie, even though there's such massive gunfire in it. I find it to be kind of, I don't know, the gunfire becomes part of like maybe the Greek chorus something at some point, where the movie becomes about something so much more than just gunfire. It's about the levels of which, like, there literally are cops shooting out of the police department building. Like, this bus is all shot to hell. They're hiding in a cabin underneath the bus, I guess, at this point. I mean, look at that bus, it's just shot all to hell. So I don't know how they're not shot at this point. I don't know how cops aren't getting shot from all the, whatever you would call it, different issues. All the bullets flying. This is surreal, this scene. I'll never forget this scene. It's one of the more lasting images of the movie, obviously. Just this barrage of bullets. Every cop in, Phoenix or Vegas or anywhere coming and shooting at this bus. I bet you they hired hundreds for this scene.
come shoot your guns at Clint Eastwood as he drives by in a bus with his wife or girlfriend. I mean, legit. And they just keep shooting. They won't stop shooting. Whoa. How did they live? He shot all to hell. That's how he lived. He's got bullets in him, out of him. They should just shoot him still, but they won't. Matter of pride at this point. She's probably shot all to hell too. But she's not. And then they respect him and they let him go into that weird little Phoenix building that from which the whole movie started. He should have got bullets in him. Like, you survived the gauntlet, sir. You survived the gauntlet. They never seen anything like that. Sir, you can outlive on, sir. I got a witness here for courtroom G. I love that part. They're supposed to kill them. I gave them orders to shoot them. He's gonna punch out Blake Locke. Blake Locke's a bad prop boss. And then Clint Eastwood gets shot 2 more times. Twice by Blake Locke. And then she shoots and kills Blake Locke. Pretty cool dramatic ending there. I think he lives. I think Clint lives there. And he cries this in line, nag, nag, nag. Wow. He took some bullets there, though, for sure. We don't usually see Clint Eastwood get so shot up in movies. You don't usually see that. And then they walk into the courthouse. I'm just surprised some cop don't pull the gun out and shoot him there, but I guess there must have been some rule that you just stop shooting after, what, 5,000 bullets or whatever. They lived, you know? I really appreciate everyone joining me for the commentary here of the Gauntlet. It's an interesting question. I'd like everyone else to think about. Can you rank all the different Clint Eastwood starring, directing movies that he's made? From Space Cowboys to Play Misty for Me, to The Rookie, to The Gauntlet, to The Mule, to Sudden Impact, to Gran Torino, to Absolute Power, True Crime and Blood Work, and Unforgiven. If I'm missing any in there, you know, name them, of course, in the comments. But of those handful of movies, how would you rank them? And have you seen all of them? Do you like all of them? I've seen all of them. I need to watch Space Cowboys again. I didn't like it when I saw it years ago, so that's what I mean by that. I've seen every one of the movies that he's directed and starred in, as far as I know. If I'm missing one, I'm going to go ahead and look at the list when I go off air here. I've seen Every Which Way You Can, but I don't remember Every Which Way You But Loose. as well, or vice versa. You know, I've seen one of the two of that series. So I don't know if he directed either one of those. Honky Tonk Man I saw years ago, and I guess I should be considering that on this list as in addition to White Hunter, Black Heart, both of which I'd like to try to re-see again. But I think the lower tier of the ones that he's directed and starred in are clearly Absolute Power, Gran Torino, two other ones I just mentioned, and you know, mid tier or above are True Crime, Blood Work. Oh, I'd say The Mule is lower down there as well. So anyway, I really did enjoy doing the commentary. I think I'll put some more videos and talk some more about Sondra Locke, share some of the insight that she shared with me about life and acting and things. And like I said, I'm going to close out the video. Hold on. And close out the video here. And thank you all very much. I very much enjoyed doing the commentary today. And thank you so much. We'll talk a little bit later. We'll discuss a little bit